Welcome back, everyone. Next up, we're going to build, I don't want to say an app. It's a very simple little demo that combines a lot of what we've learned so far. So variables, working with loops, arrays, and different array methods, and some conditional logic as well. We're going to build a very simple to-do list that is all command line based. So we still don't have any of the tools to actually make a to-do list, with our mouse and buttons and forms and all of that. But I'm just displaying here the commands just in case you forget them. I've listed them here in an HTML page, and then I included, a single script, todos.js. Now, let me just show you how it will work. So I'm going to refresh the page. Everything is done via prompt, that method that asks a user to enter something in. It's really obnoxious, right? This isn't all that usable. Although I do see real people who use command line based to-do apps. So they're all based in the terminal, not the JavaScript console. And they're all just text based, and they might seem really unusable to the majority of people, but some people actually use something like this, just not based in the browser. Anyway, here's how it works. I can specify, a command. Am I adding a to-do? Let's start there. So I type new, and I'll hit enter. Then it says enter new to-do. So let's do something like, I don't know, how about collect eggs from my chickens? Okay, and then it tells me collect eggs added to the list. Now I can specify something else. Let's just add one more. How about feed chickens? And then I'll type list, which is another command, and it prints me out the list somewhat in a okay looking format. We've got the stars up here just to separate things out. And then it shows me the index and then the actual to-do. Now that index, that number there is important because if I want to delete a to-do, which I'll do now, I'll type delete, it's going to ask me to enter the index of the to-do I want to delete. So I will delete index of 0 by new turtle. It says to-do removed, so let's list again, and you can see it's gone. Now we just have those two. And then I can also type quit to get out of here. Before I do that, if I type anything else, nothing happens. So you could add on a feature that says, I don't recognize that, or I can't do that. Please try again. But for the simple MVP, just keep asking, what would you like to do? And then as soon as I type quit, we're done. And you can see it prints out down here. So if you want to try and build this on your own, I highly recommend at least trying to. I can give you some tips up front. The first one is that we're going to have a loop, right? And this is going to be a while loop. I just refreshed the page. Basically, you're going to ask for some input, and while the result of that input, whatever the user types, while it's not equal to quit, you just keep looping. Now, I highly recommend you make sure you get the quit part to work before you implement anything else, because you don't want to deal with infinite loops, as we've already discussed. So that's going to be one important piece, just looping while a user has not entered quit. And remember, the specific function we need is prompt. That's how we ask for an input like this. Next up, the actual storage of the to-dos will be done using an array, or at least that's how I recommend you do it, right? It's in a collection of pieces of data, a collection of strings. It makes sense to use an array. So basically, we'll have an empty array at the beginning, give it some variable name, to-dos probably, or to-do list. And then if a user enters the input that they would like to add, or I guess new is what I said, if they enter new, then we prompt them again. So there will be a conditional inside the loop. If command equals new, or if input equals new, then ask them again, or ask them a new thing, what is the to-do text? So whatever I put in here, walk dog, if I can spell that, then we take that and we'll just add it on right there, right? Walk dog. And then same thing, if I enter another to-do, we just add it on to the end of the list and keep going. If I ask to list all of the to-dos, what will you do? Well, I have caps lock on. You will iterate over all of the to-dos and print them out. And remember, we want that index there so that I can delete. Now, delete might be the trickiest piece. If you don't remember how we can remove something from an array, if we have the index, the easiest option is to use the splice method. So that's all I'll say up front. If you want to tackle this on your own, I definitely recommend trying it instead of just watching me build it in the next video, because this is really the first time we have multiple pieces coming together, arrays, loops, two different types of loops potentially, a for loop and a while loop. We also have conditional logic in there. So I recommend you attempt it, but I don't expect everyone to be able to get this if you're brand new to programming. So that's why I'm going to go through it step by step in the next video. Also remember, this is useless and not at all an attractive product for anyone to use, but we've got to start somewhere.